I don't understand what this feeling is, or why people or oil painters are so against blending. There are a lot of things to consider when you're blending. Something that I've always been curious about is how the colors shift from point A to point B to point C until you reach point Z. I love looking at that stuff. Granted, I struggle representing it maybe from time to time depending on the subject, but it's one of those things that give character and life to what you're painting. So when we're discussing blending techniques versus no blending techniques, I think it's just a matter of what you want to achieve. I think a lot of it comes down to preference. I think a lot of it also comes down to what it is you're trying to convey, to portray, to express, the best way to go about it, what can help you achieve that emotion, what can help you achieve that technique and style. A lot of studies have to be done to be able to achieve that. So I just want to get this off my chest because it's been bothering me so much when I look at videos about blending or videos not about blending and videos about not blending. It's really you're working with oils. It's so beautiful to blend oils, and you can get such beautiful colors as well when you make the paint thick and maybe just add touches of thicknesses, maybe depending on the texture, the fabrics. So I really think it's just a matter of what do you want to do? It's not that difficult. Well, it is difficult. So I mean, concept wise, it's whatever you want. That's why we have so many art movements. Do what you like. Work with the paint, don't work against it. So I needed to get that out of my chest. Okay guys, let's get painting. I love pears. Pears are great. So I'm gonna put this up here. I'm gonna need tape. And this will be our reference for these two. I don't know where I got this. I just know that I got it from Pinterest like a year ago. So that's what it is. So I can't credit anything. In this case, when we're doing the no blending, we can choose something a little bit harder. We can pick and choose whatever we want to use. Let's begin with the paint thinner. Okay, so I'm gonna start with shaping the pear itself. We'll squish it, we'll just make it shorter. And with the no layering, we're trying to just go bit by bit. So let's see how this actually turns out. Just gonna tone it down. And I think I just kind of want to start over here. Issue number 1 with the no blending, you need more paint if you're using a bristle brush. Okay, so we're following the shape. A bit of a wonky pear. Let's fix the shape. And now let's get into those reds. And I'm just showing you a very exaggerated version of this so that you can really get a full picture of the no blending and really going into the different values. So we want to see that value transition through each brush stroke and color transition, and all using the one brush. So we're losing some form, and I want to make this lighter, and the lighting is not making it very easy for me to read this properly. Let me change it real quick. Yeah. Obviously you can always do a little bit more or a little bit less. And my palette has now become an absolute mess. And I gotta use this somehow, so we'll see how we can use it. We have all of the non-blended areas here. And now we're gonna move on to a synthetic brush. I'm gonna start pretty big first, and then I'm gonna move on to a smaller brush. See how that works. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the background once more. So we don't wanna do this. We don't wanna get a very light green. No, my love, stop. Okay, so we don't wanna get a light green here, let's say, and then blend into here. We don't want to cause this. Well, for one, we don't even have the right color. So let's say we have a lighter one even. Okay, yeah. And now it's becoming muddy with the back. We're losing the beautiful color transitions because the white is melting into, well, melting. It's blending in with the darks, and the darks, which contain a little bit of red, are diluting, well, desaturating the green as well as the white. So now we're left with this, which is so dull. We're gonna try to, now that it's dull, it's gonna be difficult to lighten up, because you see it's melting with the, well, it's blending with the background, which is very desaturated. All of these grays here, or well, grayed out greens, are gonna be very difficult to combat to make it saturated again. If you've made this, is to is to clean your brush and remove the paint. And the way to remove the paint is with a palette knife. So we lost a lot of that like strong light. So I want to start over. I dipped the palette knife in paint thinner. So now I can remove it. And not only with the scraper, but I can try to do it with the... So you could either let it dry. Since it's paint thinner, it should be dry either in a few hours or the following day. So let's try again. We're just kind of layering them on top a bit, and then once they're layered, we can kind of blend them together. You see, like now it's so much better. Here, from dark to light, we see this is not working well because we have a very light area, very saturated area, and we're going into a dull. By creating a transitional color that is saturated enough to make that jump from dark to light. So it becomes easier on the eye, it's not so abrupt. So then if we mix these colors in together, they make a nicer transition than the dullness with the dark, dull color with the light. Because otherwise there's going to be a gray. Or a gray variant of the green. So now we have this dull green in this patch over here. And we're going to try to create an in-between the orange tones and over here, which is supposed to be more saturated. What are you eating? No, not the brush, not the brush. Could be easier to use a rounded brush. It would definitely be easier if I would have cleaned up my palette after that whole mess. But let's see if we can find a transitional value over here. So you'd be able to get all of those blending aspects or all of that blending action everywhere. I hope you can take something out of it. Experiment with your brushes, with the brushes that you have, be it a flat brush, round brush, maybe even the demonic fan button brush. I hate that brush with my whole might. Anyway, we have full impasto, no blending situation here. And here we have a combination. It started all very blended, transition to transition. You can blend this even more to the point where it is literally a straight surface. I mean a smooth surface and smooth transition between each little detail. Though it is not important, what is important is that you are able to still have form when you're blending. And I did show you how not to blend. There is a bit of loss of the form and transition, so some areas would need to be lighter. And that is fault of mine on the palette, and that is fault of mine on the brush part as well, where I didn't clean them properly. I laid on too much paint. It's very desaturated, so to get that saturation back is very hard. So I would probably need to scrape off a few areas, or I would need to lay on top more paint, meaning thicker paint. I don't want to do that because I like that the highlights are what is the thickest area to give it that enhancement on the shape and lighting scenario or lighting scene that there is suggested, or that is suggested. I love the combination of flat and texture. You have a lot of combinations you can work with. So have fun experimenting on your own and have fun painting what you like to paint. So get to it, happy painting.